couple of articles this week talking about education and prosperity, something we don't really talk about education necessarily, but obviously we are talking about growth, prosperity, the UK economy a fair amount. And our national story has always been that growth is stuck because the skills are lacking. So the idea being fix education, prosperity follows. It feels quite logical. But the data, it looks like that is backwards. So what's going on with the articles? The question, I guess, is education downstream of growth? Do you buy it? I mean, is it education first?
I don't know. I mean, what was first, the chicken or the egg?
Well, I mean, we talk about prosperity and growth and the economy a lot. And we know that there are a lot of people that could be in work that aren't in work for various reasons. We know that AI is coming down the track. We've got this amazing capability coming down the track. It's already here, but it's still kind of coming into the application layers. And we have to do something new and we have to do something different. So is it, I guess, as the UK, focus on education, get more people into AI, tech, doing things? I mean, which angle would you poke it from?
If you take a step back, the big question here, big conundrum that I think the UK and maybe also wider Europe has been wrestling with. So, the Blair government, New Labour, they had a huge push to get more people into university education and had formidable results coming out of it. And the UK became a global leader in, getting people a degree, getting them into university. And you would have thought, well, isn't it great? We've got this incredibly well-educated workforce that should lead to prosperity, to high wages, phenomenal results for the economy. And so the challenge is you're looking at what's happening in the UK, you're looking at what's happening in the US, and although schooling and education in many ways have been doing well and England has been climbing the rankings, wages have not been following. And so American plumbers are earning 90% more than British ones. You could maybe say, great, there's a lot of data centers being built and maybe they need some water for cooling. Fine, that's good for the plumbers. If you look at uneducated Americans, so a low literacy American, they earn about $30 an hour and 2/3 of them are in work. That same group in Britain, they earn $20 and fewer than half are in work. So what the analysis, and Bern Murdoch, he released some of the data in his article in the FT, are saying is that even though England in many ways has been better at educating its population than the US, the economic output in the US has been much, much better. And I think this is the conundrum people are wrestling with, because it was always said, look, education is the silver bullet, and if we just fix education, everything else will follow. And Bern Murdoch is saying, not so fast.
But I remember years ago you could do David Beckham studies at whatever ex-Polytechnic, now university. So is it the fact that we're not training plumbers and we're training, I don't know, social media gurus? I don't know. Maybe it's the content rather than the number of people getting degrees.
Well, there's 100% a huge issue there. I mean, there's sort of a question of should you basically enable people to and encourage people to study just whatever they want. There's sort of been this saying of just follow your passion and everything else will come. The challenge we have is that, yes, we're still sending a lot of people to university, and a lot of them end up taking degrees that they're not making much money out of, and they end up with student debt, and it's not a good cycle. And the challenge is, so the IFS, the Institute for Fiscal Studies, they've kind of tried to analyze what are the degrees that pay themselves back, that are positive investments or good investments. And some of them are really, really bad. If somebody studies, if a man in the UK studies creative arts, the cost, so the value of that degree over their lifetime is a negative £100,000.
Really?
So you never make back what you have studied. The society never makes back the investment that was made. And we know we don't have enough engineers. We know we don't have enough people, in certain professions. Yet we seem to have it be quite open in terms of what people go off to study, and you can get your student loans and you can get kind of that support from the government, no matter what you study. And the question is whether we can still afford a system that is completely, uneconomical in that way.
Isn't the answer to that quite obvious, where you almost do the Australian point system where they say we need more engineers, therefore the cost of that course is subsidized, whatever, 90% with regards to 10% for David Beckham studies. Isn't that part? What would you do? I guess a bigger question. What would you do?
I think
You're
absolutely.
working in number
You have
10.
we should invest in the stuff that gives a return on investment. And this is not to say people shouldn't be allowed to study creative arts. It's just possible that the government can't fund it. Right? I mean, I think there's some of these luxury things, some of these wonderful things that we have said, that this is not just in universities, it's across society.
We're going to get a whole bunch of hate mail from creatives now, you know that.
And listen, let them send it in. I think the truth of the matter is, unless we have a successful economy, we won't be able to afford any of it, and none of it is going to matter anyway. So right now, the public finances are creaking. If we don't make changes to the way UK PLC operates, the country will be broke in a matter of decades. That's just the way it is. It's completely unsustainable with the burden of welfare, pensions. We know that many parts of education is underfunded. Healthcare is creaking. Something has to change.
Prioritize, right? Put it in context and prioritize. Yeah.
And the way you prioritize is you invest in the stuff that gives you a return on investment. And that's where we have to start. And then, maybe once the finances are in place again, we can start to sort of more freely give money out to all the stuff that doesn't return the capital that's put in. But right now, it just doesn't feel like we can afford it.
I'd like to think that's not that offensive and fairly doable and obvious, but we'll see. Also, I mean, you have to kind of put these things financially in context as well.